The Pickleball Show is brought to you by PBX Club. PBX stands for Pickleball Excellence. Join today and get the latest pickleball tips and strategies, news and opinion. Save money on paddles and other equipment with coupon codes to online pickleball retailers. Get travel discounts to tournaments and a whole lot more. How much does it cost to become a PBX Club member? Well, it's free. Just go to freepbxclub.com. That's freepbxclub.com. There's even a link in the show notes for this episode. freepbxclub.com. PBX Pickleball Excellence. Join the club. It's free.
Hello, my name's Wayne Medley, pickleball lover, and here's the host of the Pickleball Show, Chris Allen.
Thank you, Wayne, and welcome to the show dedicated to helping you play better pickleball while having even more fun and meeting new friends who share your passion for this great sport. My name is Chris Allen. I'm your host, and you've got questions. We've got answers. Today's listener question day. And by we, I don't mean me personally. I don't have any answers, but I have assembled a panel who does have answers. And, well, let's see. Maybe I have an answer. I played this morning, and I can answer this question for you. How does it feel to have somebody throw up a lob on you, and you reach up to hit the lob down, to smash it down, and you totally whiff it? You miss it, and it bounces behind you, and then you got another chance. You can go ahead and catch it on the bounce and hit it again, and you whiff it again. I can answer that one for you, and the answer is not too good. But let me go to the panel here for other questions that you've written in and want to have answers to. And we're going to start off in Portland, Maine, and say hello to our friend Linda Einsiedler.
Hi, Chris.
And joining us from Kansas City, Missouri, Mickey Collins. Mickey, how are you?
Doing very fine.
We're going to continue over to the other side of the country, Portland, Oregon. It's Mike Hoxie. Mike, how are you doing?
It's another fantastic day out here.
Good deal. Glad to hear it. Let's answer a question. This first one is from Jay in Monroe, Louisiana. And Jay asks, some people I play with keep insisting the kitchen line extends beyond the sidelines. I say it stops there. Can you please settle this once and for all? You know, I've heard that too. When I first started playing, somebody told me that. They said it was like like in football where they talk about the goal line, from the one pylon, it goes all the way around the world and then it connects to the next pylon. So that if a player, catches a pass and then dives and crosses that goal line, even if they're out of bounds and they're still in the air, it counts as a touchdown. And somebody told me the kitchen line's like that too. You can't, if you hit a ball and you step over the sideline, but you cross that kitchen line, it's no good. I don't think that is the case. Do you guys agree?
I agree with you, Chris. I've seen a lot of shots that are stepping outside of that kitchen line, that corner right there, and popping them even before the ball gets over the net.
Yeah.
So I agree. It stops right there. The line is the end.
Yeah, it's just that box where the kitchen line is. And yeah, because I've even seen it where a guy will hit a shot and he'll do that little dance. He'll step over that corner in the kitchen, and he'll be on the outside of the sideline, and he'll reach in and hold his paddle and block a shot.
Yep.
It's great. And it's even more amazing when you can see that happening when you're on the sidelines. It's not too fun to have it happen to you when you're on the court, but those are amazing shots to watch.
I'm still, I have yet to do an around the post shot.
The trick is you don't have to get more than 2 or 3 inches off the ground. So if you can hit their toes, that's the best place to aim because you don't need to hit it at net level. Just around the pole and at their feet is perfect.
I did get one last week, and it was a fluke. I thought the point was over, and I'm still going after it and hit it, and it got in on the deep in the other corner.
All right, you got it. Let's see. All right, so we're definitely in agreement that the kitchen, where the sideline ends the kitchen zone. So you can take that, Jay in Monroe, Louisiana, take that to your to whoever keeps insisting, and you can set them straight. All right, let's go over to Byron in Norwalk, Connecticut. Byron says, my partner puts tape on the end of his paddle to give it extra weight. Someone we played against at a local tournament said that's illegal. What modifications can you make to a paddle? Well, last week we did a show on equipment, and we talked about putting an overgrip on the handle of the paddle. And I know I do that. Linda, you do that as well. Gives the paddle a little bit more of a tacky feel, also absorbs moisture, and it does make the paddle, the grip a little bit thicker, which I like, and you like too, don't you, Linda?
Yep, and I've got the rule book in front of me, section 2, and the only alterations that can be made are changes to the grip, like your overgrips, adding an edge guard, which is what taping is.
And some people, I think they use like a weighted tape, isn't it, like a lead tape or something?
That's what I use to make my paddle 9 ounces.
It gives it a little bit more pop on the...
A little more pop and a little more weight to cut through the wind if you're outdoors.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the only modifications are...
To the handle, to adding an edge guard, adding identification name decals on the paddle face. Decals and markings, the specifications can't extend no farther than 1 inch above top of the handle.
Boy, well, you can't get any, you've got the rule book right in front of you there. When you're quoting chapter and verse and section number and everything, you can't get any more official than that.
That's why she's on this show, Chris.
Good answer. Well, you knocked that one out of the park. Nice job, Linda.
Thanks.
Hopefully our engineers that are putting these paddles together, those engineers can come up with a way to quieten these paddles down.
Well, yeah, I know that and especially as the sport grows in different communities, people don't want to live near it. It's one of those NIMBY things, not in my backyard. They might love pickleball, but do you want to have a pickleball court, blasting 24/7, right next door to your house?
The good engineers should be able to get that solved in the next couple of years.
There are quieter paddles out. So, for example, Pickleball now makes a green rimless paddle, the PN 2010, that is significantly more quiet. It's like their Metalite, and it's really super quiet, ideal for playing in noise-conscious communities. And I have noticed playing with my Pickleball now indoor balls on my outdoor courts, my neighbor actually asked, "Gee, you're a lot quieter this year. Are you doing something different?" And I said, we're just playing with a different ball, that indoor ball on our outdoor court.
Well, one of the things too, Mickey, I think that when you invent a paddle, when you use material that's going to absorb sound, it's also going to absorb some of the force coming off of the paddle. And I know the paddles have to be rigorously tested by the USAPA, and they have to be tournament, certified. And I think that there's been some issue. I heard something because somebody, I think it might have been Brian Jensen, had come up with a paddle that used cork as its core. And people loved the paddle. They loved playing with it because it gave them so much control, and it was a quiet paddle. But for whatever reason, the cork did not pass the USAPA test.
There was one gentleman that had a sticker that you could put on the face of the paddle that supposedly quieted down, added about an ounce to the weight of the paddle. But USAPA wouldn't approve that either, so he's no longer even pursuing that route.
Mm-hmm. Well, we will see as the technology improves, and also as the sport grows, and there's more and more demand.
So there are lists of paddles according to how much noise they make. They've been tested. Are you aware of that list?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that in different. A lot of the 55 plus communities, they'll have a list of approved paddles and not approved, and then they'll have the decibel rating next to the paddles. Let's go to David in Sacramento now. David asks, has anybody had any experience getting local park officials to consent to converting a rarely used tennis court into a much sought-after pair of pickleball courts? What's the best way to approach them? David, thank you for writing in. And let me remind everybody that if you have a question, you can just email it to us. The address is mail@pickleballshow.com. So what do you think? Have any of you had any experience getting local people to maybe convert a tennis court over into a pickleball court?
Up here in Portland, Oregon, we recently had a great success story with the city of Washougal, which is just outside of Vancouver, Washington, where there was a couple of tennis courts clearly run down, and the local players were taping off the court and playing on one or two, what they could make out of that without the cracks. And it took over a year of working with the city, going to the council meetings, and really pulling the whole pickleball community together to show that this isn't just a neighborhood thing, that this could be a big community draw. And we recently, last summer, got it fully converted to 6 dedicated outdoor courts. And it was not a simple process, but it has been very successful. And now we're seeing 30 people show up on a Monday at 10 in the morning to play pickleball. And we're going to host a outdoor pickleball Washougal's River Edge tournament with the city. And it's going to be a great partnership that we're looking to build going forward from here.
What about you, Linda?
That's basically all we do in getting our public courts established. We go to the local parks and rec, and we look to them to turn their basketball courts, their basketball gym, into indoor courts. And by looking at their downtime, and the picklers like to play early in the morning, and then the basketball will come in later in the day. So it's a great argument to increase the usage for underutilized spaces. So that's how we do it with getting our indoor courts. And then for outdoor courts, what we find is the greatest resistance we have is from the tennis players. They don't want to give up their space. Mm-hmm. And to put lines down, but I think that the best solution there is to give the tennis players priority on their times. What times do they want to use? And then the picklers will get priority for an equal amount of time in their off times, and that seems to work.
We did the same thing, Linda, down in a different part of Portland in Tualatin, where they painted pickleball lines on tennis courts. Yep. And initially it was just a dark gray, and it was very difficult to see on a cloudy day, which might happen up here in Portland, Oregon. Yep. We just had those redone in the last year to a bright yellow. And the tennis players aren't very pleased, but the city is seeing there are far more pickleball players coming out. And we have 4 courts going on those 2 tennis courts every weekend, and it is just loaded. It has been fantastic how much this helped grow the sport.
That's great. Yeah, I know. When I leave home in the morning to go play, it's about 20 minutes away, and in that 20 minutes, I'm driving by at least a dozen tennis courts that when I drive there, I look, and when I'm driving home, I look, and they're just empty. They're empty, in the morning, and they're empty in the afternoon when I come back. And I think, boy, if we could just have just one of those, convert that little court over to a couple of pickleball courts, I bet there'd be some people out there when I left in the morning and when I came back in the afternoon. I know of a success story recently in Punta Gorda, Florida. My father-in-law lives down there, and a gentleman by the name of Dave Fox, he was very instrumental in getting the local park officials to go ahead and take the plunge, and he met with a lot of opposition from the tennis players in the area, Linda, like you were talking about, but was able to show the value in converting not all of the courts. I mean, the tennis players aren't going to lose every one of their courts or anything, but they converted, I think, 2 or 3 courts over, and now they've got I think 8 different pickleball courts at Gilchrist Park in Punta Gorda. And they're actually scheduled their first tournament coming up in January, the 22nd through the 24th. And they've got it on the USAPA site and everything. So we wish them well with that. And good luck and good work, Dave Fox down in Punta Gorda at Windmill Village for making that happen. So nice job down there, folks. All right, let's go to a different part of the country here. We're going to head down to Beaumont, Texas, and we're answering listener questions today. And if you have a question, feel free to email it to us, mail@pickleballshow.com. Perry in Beaumont, Texas asks, if the ball hits the kitchen line on a serve, is it good? And you've got the official rule book in front of you, Linda. Do you happen to know, do you have that page dog-eared, perhaps?
I'm looking for it now.
I'll tell you what I think, and maybe while you're, and you can look it up. My understanding is always that the line is part of the kitchen,
Correct.
so that if the serve hits the kitchen line, no, it is not a good serve. Because just like if part of your foot is touching the kitchen line, you're in the kitchen. So, if the ball touches the kitchen line on a serve, it's in the kitchen and it's not in the appropriate service box. Mickey, is that your understanding?
Absolutely, Chris. When you look at the way the courts are drawn out, and it shows that line, when you draw out a court, is part of it's included in that 7 foot. Mm-hmm. So that line makes it absolutely part of the kitchen. Okay,
perfect. So I think we're in agreement. And I think, did you find it? You got cut off there when we were talking there, Linda.
Yep. Section 4E4, it is a fault if the serve ball lands on the non-volley line.
There you go. Mickey, what is the pickleball scene looking like in Kansas City these days?
Oh my gosh, it is strong and growing. Our Kansas City metro area, first of all, you got to know the wind blows every day of the year. So we have a lot of indoor play, and all our community centers are dedicating 3 and 4 days and some evenings for the game. And it's really helped us to really grow. And a few of the communities are painting the tennis courts for pickleball, but because of the weather and the way the wind blows, we don't get a lot of outdoor play. But we're Kansas City Metro is really growing, and Andy Ganesh, we have some 5-0 players in our community that we really enjoy watch play, and they enjoy playing with all of us as well.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for all you do for helping to spread the word and grow the sport there in Kansas City.
You bet.
Well, guys, thank you so much for answering these listener questions. And Linda, with your rule book, I just think that you've left no room for error. And thank you for joining us today from Portland, Maine. And we look forward to talking with you again.
Thanks, Chris.
And Mike from Portland, Oregon, thank you as well.
Thank you, Chris. I had a great time.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining us today. And we'll see you next time here on The Pickleball Show.
Pickle on.
Thank you. So long.
And what's your question? Do you have one? We'd love to hear from you. Email it to us, mail@pickleballshow.com. That's our email address, mail@pickleballshow.com. Head over to iTunes also if you get a chance. Leave us a 5-star review. That does more than anything else to boost us up in the rankings and make it so much easier for people to find the show, not just around the country, but around the world now. I'm able to tell where people are downloading the show from, and it's amazing to look at the map and see downloads coming from Ireland, from Australia, from England, all over the place, and that is great news, not just for the show, but for pickleball in general, and we really do appreciate your support, helping to spread the word about this great sport. I'm Chris Allen. This is The Pickleball Show, and until next week, keep 'em low. The Pickleball Show is brought to you by PBX Club. PBX stands for Pickleball Excellence. Join today and get the latest pickleball tips and strategies, news and opinion. Save money on paddles and other equipment with coupon codes to online pickleball retailers. Get travel discounts to tournaments and a whole lot more. How much does it cost to become a PBX Club member? Well, it's free. Just go to freepbxclub.com. That's freepbxclub.com. There's even a link in the show notes for this episode. freepbxclub.com. PBX Pickleball Excellence. Join the club. It's free.